Hey everybody, this is Ben Eubanks of Lighthouse Research, and I've been doing some really interesting analysis over here of the talent acquisition chatbot landscape. And yes, I know everybody hears about chatbots and everything else, but the data are interesting. So one of the things we looked at was funding in the space. How much money is flowing into this area, this industry, this segment of the market? What we found is in the last few years has been nearly about $100 million invested just in the recruiting chatbot area. Okay, so there's a lot of money coming here, and what's interesting, that money's been coming for the last few years, and so some of those developments, those new tools, those new features are starting to roll out, and we're starting to see some of those capabilities in the market. Very, very interesting. And so we actually did some research to dig into what these capabilities are, what the companies are, who can do what in the market, things like that. And we found so far approximately 20 different companies that are selling recruiting chatbots. So 20 different companies or more, at least so far in our research. And we're starting to kind of break them down in terms of functionality, what they can do, things like screening and intake. Someone shows up to your careers page, this chatbot can converse with them, get their resume, help them find a job that fits them, apply for that, so on. Really useful by taking that from just a one-way approach to taking very conversational sort of style. One of the other things they're doing is actually doing some light screening. So having conversations and asking about job requirements, things like that, asking questions, structure around those things so that you can understand if someone can actually do the job or not, hopefully. By the time they apply, you can help them make sure they're qualified to do that job. So a little bit of light screening. One of the other things that we're seeing these capabilities that are very valuable from a recruiting perspective is actually scheduling. I was at a conference last week and talked to a handful of companies that employ full-time schedulers just to handle all the scheduling needs for their talent acquisition teams. And so they're spending a lot of money, spending a lot of time, spending a lot of effort trying to juggle all these things. And to be honest, that's one of those things that humans aren't always great at doing. If you have a good bot that can understand natural language and can have those conversations and pick schedules out, things like that, they can do it more quickly. They can respond more quickly to candidates. They can actually do a better job of making sure they're consistent than humans do. So we're more likely to make mistakes, and I am the world's worst scheduler. That's why I use an assistant to help me out with those things, because I'm just not good at scheduling stuff. It's my kryptonite for some reason. But anyway, so the screening, the scheduling, the intake, all these pieces of that puzzle, and then there are other capabilities as well. So we're lumping this kind of as a big bucket of other things, but it could be anything from trying to engage your talent pool, trying to re-engage people that are already in your database, having a conversation with them to re-qualify them or to update their skills or update their interests, things you're looking for. Other areas like approaching your candidates or your new hires. You've gone through this process, you've recruited them, you've hired them, the bot's been supporting all along the way. They start on the job, and the bot can check in with them post-hire to say, hey, just wanted to check in, see how things are going. Do you need anything? Is everything going as expected? If you had to rate the process on a 1 to 10, what would you say? Is there anything we can improve? Just to have some basic conversation with that person and make sure there's some consistency and some continuity, because, again, great recruiters will do that. They will actually follow up with those people after they've started. They'll check in with them. They'll make sure everything's good. But it's hard to do that. It's not an easy practice, and so a lot of recruiters just don't do it, or that falls to the wayside, back burner, all those things. We don't run out of time in the day. And so a bot can help do that, again, more consistently for every candidate, can help you identify some issues or pain points in that new hire onboarding process, things like that. So really interesting to see employers using these chatbots and the ways they're using them to help from the very earliest touch point for a candidate all the way through to, hey, I'm on the job and I'm 30, 60, 90 days in, and this chatbot's helping to make sure that the experience is still a positive one for me and highlighting any issues that I might have on that first journey on the job. So really interesting to see. We're actually doing some research on this, a report coming out very soon that we're going to be sharing with this. And so I'll make sure the link is in the show notes below, the video notes, if you want to check that out. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think about chatbots in the recruiting space? Is this something that you're going to start using? Have you started using them? What have your results been? I'm seeing numbers anywhere from, hey, just a couple hours a week all the way up to nearly a full day a week in terms of gained productivity per recruiter, which is pretty astounding in terms of the value that these things can bring from automating some of those processes and helping us to inject more humanity in those things where the recruiters are needed. right? Talking to the high value candidates and everything else. So I'd love to hear from you what your thoughts are on that. Thank you for joining me.